Welcome back, everyone, to Public Affairs. Today, I'm here with Kristi and Daniela, and we are going to be talking about manufacturing. So why don't you guys introduce yourself and tell the audience on why you got to where you are today in your career path.
Okay, sure. Again, I'm Daniela Villaca. I'm the HR director of Acoust-A-Fiber. I have been with the company for about 8 years, and before that, I worked in the chemical industry in talent development.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm Kristi Thompson, and my career path has been a little unique. I grew up in a family of educators, so I was an educator for a very long time. I was a school teacher. I taught English, and then assistant principal, assistant superintendent, HR director, and then a school superintendent. And then I moved to the corporate world and was a director of learning and development. And I worked for a nonprofit as a director of learning and leading. And then I started my own professional development company, SACE Consulting. And so my journey has kind of been in a lot of sectors, and I primarily focus on leadership and organizational development now.
Yeah, that's awesome. So Daniela, would you like to share some information about your organization?
Sure. We work at Acoust-A-Fiber is a manufacturing. We work for automotive industry. We do acoustical and thermal solutions for the cars. So we do heat shields, hood liners, dashboard, fenders, tunnels for Stellantis, GM, Ford, Toyota, Honda, name it.
And Kristi?
I work for SACE Consulting, which stands for Strategic Advancement Corporate and Educational Consulting, hence the abbreviation because it's very long. We focus on transformational leadership and organizational development, and I work really with organizations to help them move the needle on wherever it is that they want to go.
Yeah. So Danielle, what kind of employment opportunities do you have available now in the future, and what kind of education levels are you looking for in each opportunity?
Sure. We have 4 plants, one here in Ohio, another in Michigan, another in San Antonio, Texas, and another in Mexico. All of them, we are always looking for engineers, manufacturing engineers, industrial engineers, process engineers, chemical engineers, as well as maintenance techs, and production associate, forklift drivers, all careers in the manufacturing.
Kristi, what types of industry manufacturing initiatives are you implementing now, and what types of future industry manufacturing initiatives are you planning?
Kaylee, we really focus on leadership development and organizational training. So currently, right now, we've been hearing across the state of Ohio in both corporate and educational sectors that leaders are really overwhelmed with the job and everything that comes with it, and to try to train their employees or get their leaders some well thought out and intentional professional development is a challenge now. So we really focus around 9 core competencies of leadership and improvement based on those 9 core competencies. And we have a coaching program that has 5 tiers. So whether folks are an aspiring leader or they're a seasoned leader, we have everything that will suit their needs in terms of their professional development and growth, and it's individualized. So it's not canned, it's not just something that we push out. It is really intentional, and it gives leaders the opportunity to problem solve with their job, on their job, and communicate with other leaders that also are there to get questions answered, solve problems, and continue a pattern of growth.
Absolutely. Danielle, do you offer training and or education to new hires? And if yes, can you give us details on what you offer?
Yes, we do offer. We offer 2 types of trainings. Some of technical trainings, like when we include like robots, welding, and other more technical skills. As well, the other training that we offer is soft skill training, especially for our leaders. Actually, I was just talking with Kristi a little bit before we came in air, and some of how important is those leadership trainings for new leaders and continue to develop them.
Yeah, absolutely. What roles does manufacturing play in the economics of the region?
I think manufacturing is essential. It hits everything we do. It builds our economic base. It provides jobs. And in this climate, We really need to focus on workforce efficiency and innovation and production in the manufacturing field. And I think that, like Daniela was saying, leadership, professional development, and soft skills, not only soft skills, but those tactical skills like strategic planning and productivity are so important for leaders. And having someone that they can go to is really important to ask questions or really just help them solve problems that they may be facing and give them that extra support.
I like how you put that, how manufacturing revolves around everything around us.
It does.
So Daniela, what are you doing to attract and retain talent in this area of skilled labor shortages?
So yeah, no, definitely we are involving in so many different activities, not just with high school students, elementary school, but the technical schools. When we talk about here in the area, our DACC, our Delaware Career Center, or Tri-Rivers, or Columbus State, and others, we always try to make sure we have a good connection with them for those skilled laborers. We also are really involved in the community. We have Acoust A-Fiber it's a diverse environment, so we have a lot of refugees that come to work with us, so we continue to develop them, and we're really involved in the community.
Yeah. What leadership traits do you think are most critical for success in the manufacturing industry today, especially in the face of rapid technological advancements?
That's a really good question. I think there are 9 core competencies that we at SACE Consulting believe that are essential for leaders, and that's reflection and self-awareness. If a leader is not self-aware, then they don't know what their pitfalls are or their blind spots, and so they can't get support or help with those, and it impacts everything they do, from working with their team to hiring people. We also think that setting a strategic plan is really important. If there's no vision for a company, where are you going? Communication is vital. Creating a culture of excellence, empathetic leadership, ethics and integrity are very important, and communicating effectively. If we don't communicate well, then our message gets lost. And measuring what matters. If we don't measure the right KPIs, then we don't know if we're growing in the right ways or if we're going to meet our metrics. A shocking statistic that I read recently in Forbes was that 90% of all organizations aren't meeting their goals. And even more alarming, 80% of those companies are experiencing leadership gaps. So we've really worked really hard to help fill that need for organizations with our fully engaged leadership coaching program.
So Daniela, what do you look for when trying to hire new employees? What kind of talents and skills are you looking for?
Okay. Well, for instance, at this moment, we're looking for some manufacturing engineers. We're looking for someone that's eager to learn, and of course, different levels, right? More like a junior, eager to learn, understand some problem solving, have some initiative, as well, someone that's curious to understand how the robot works, so curious on how to solve that issue or ask questions. So we're looking for someone with those soft skills as well. For more senior engineer, you're looking for someone that understand how to program robots, work with integrations. We have different type of robots. We have Fennec, ABB, we have Motorman in our facility, so someone with skill on that control engineer.
Yeah. I think curiosity was a key point that you made, because I think curiosity is what makes people learn.
Yes, definitely. And someone that just to add, someone that wants to continue to grow with the organization, right? That's go back to the learning and continue to grow the skills and develop to a career at Acoust-A-Fiber.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Kristi, how does someone find a future leader through an interview?
That's a really good question. I think whenever you're looking for a future leader, you want somebody who is hardworking, first of all, because leadership is not an easy role. And you want to look for somebody who is able to communicate, but is also an outside-of-the-box thinker. Somebody who can see a problem and find different ways to solutions to that problem. You don't want somebody who just goes straight into the same solution every time. And I think you also want someone, like Daniela said, somebody who has a growth mindset, not a fixed mindset, somebody who is always willing to learn and always step out of their comfort zone. And I think there are a lot of situations in leadership, whether you're having a difficult conversation with somebody, where you're going to step out of your comfort zone a lot, and getting comfortable being uncomfortable is really important. So when you're looking for a new hire, I think it's always important to ask those situational questions instead of just blank questions. So something that would cause them to have to tell you a story about how they overcame a struggle, or something that would cause them to have to tell you how they were an outside of the box thinker and how they solved a problem. And those are such essential skills in manufacturing that I think it's important to be looking for those whenever you're looking for a new hire, whether you're looking for a new employee starting at the ground up or a seasoned leader. Those are all essential skills that you want to look for whenever you're hiring somebody.
And just to add on that, I always like to continue to promote in teamwork, right? Because a lot of times someone doesn't have a solution to a problem, and they get to a room with different backgrounds. And I always talk about diversity, and Acoust-A-Fiber, we're extremely diverse in all different levels, and having people together with diverse background and different ideas, it's incredible what solutions they can come up outside of the box, right? And because they start talking about, different A, B, or C solutions, and ideas come to a point. So that's really important as well, that teamwork, being able to brainstorm and work together.
Yeah, I agree. I think open to feedback is also, because if you have a diverse group of people working together, you need people who are also open to hearing feedback and constructive criticism, and really lay their ideas out. So trusting people who are really open and open to hearing different opinions. If you've got a diverse organization, I agree with you. The more diversity you have, the more innovation you have.
Definitely. That's a key. For innovation.
I think you both talked about a lot of the key parts of that right there, and hiring process and everything. I think you guys have touched on everything for that. So Daniela, the difference between labor issues, you said you have 4 different locations. So what's the labor issue differences, and how do you retain employees for different areas?
Sure. Here we have 4 plants: Ohio, San Antonio, Texas, Michigan, and Mexico. Here in Ohio, you see a lot of the same issues in all across the plants, right? Some of the issues are transportation. Transportation is a big issue. It's really hard, the public transportation here in Ohio or Michigan or Texas. Childcare is another issue that we all have here. And all those affect your attendance, right? When we talk about a worker has to get to work at 5 a.m. or work until 3 p.m. or leave at 1 o'clock in the morning. One solution that we actually did this year was Go Community. We were able to rent a van and be able to transport some of our refugee employees that they arrive in the U.S., they're ready to work, but they still have to build their bank to buy a car or to get a driver's license. So a lot of them, they cannot afford at the moment. So with the Go Commute and Work with Enterprise, we're able to provide transportation for them. So that solution, we're able to help them with that.
Yeah. So. Wow, it's very important that your company was able to notice that and help them. You probably have something to put on that list for retaining employees.
Yeah, I think that's important to retain employees. Coming at your employee situation from an empathetic place and knowing that those are the struggles that they face. Like, a lot of people today are just getting by. They're not getting ahead. And I think if we understand that, like you said, building up their bank, and they don't have transportation, if we can put a solution behind that, we could retain employees just because we're understanding to what they need, and it keeps them longer. But I think there are it's so important. There are a ton of ways that companies can work around those issues, but I think that's few and far between. I don't see that in every organization. Attendance issues are huge in education, getting kids to come to school, because life is life, right? I mean, everybody's every organization and every person, there's a problem, right? And we're all trying to overcome whatever that individual problem is that we have. But if we think about that and create solutions around the people, it's like what you said earlier, it's all about the people and it's all about training people.
Yeah, and just to tie back, when again going back to diversity and inclusion, right? Acoust-A-Fiber, we have a summer event. So we used to have just barbecue, every summer. So a couple years ago, with the amount of diversity that we had, we was trying to understand what they need, what do they like, because this is for them, right? We do that as engagement and to thank them for hard work and to have some fun, which is part of one of our core values, have fun workplace. So we change for different food trucks from different nationalities. So because we have Acoust-A-Fiber more than 24 different nationalities. So we have our Creole food, we still have our burgers, and we have our taco, and we have our Greek food truck. So every year we try to do something different to continue to show that we are inclusive and and we are here for them too.
Yeah. And food brings people together. I've noticed that.
Always. We always play some games, so it's always a lot of fun. Yes.
Yes, I like the fun work environment because that's what we've got here. Just love the work environment. So tell me a little bit more on your guys' stories. Why did you choose manufacturing? Yeah.
Okay, well, first I came from Brazil. I grew up in Brazil. I was a lawyer back there. Then I moved to Canada. I learned English there and moved back to Brazil, started working HR. Then I have been 14 years in the US, and actually first time I started in the chemical industry, which back in Brazil I was not much familiar with the manufacturing, right? To go back to being a lawyer. But when I started in the chemical industry, I just loved the fact that I was making a product that goes inside of something. Like we used to make a chemical that goes inside of your shampoo, or a chemical that goes in your paint. So that just fascinates me, how we create behind the product. There's so many different steps, and I think that was really interesting. And go back to my curiosity to continue to learn more and get more in helping to make the best product.
Your story on manufacturing and how you got into it?
It's interesting because my journey hasn't been a straight line. I started out in education, and then I moved from education to working in retail, actually, as a director of learning and development. And since I've started focusing on professional development for organizations, I don't know that I chose manufacturing. I think it just chose me. And I think being able to work with organizations and leaders has just been an opportunity for growth for me, and also to learn about organizations that are different from one another but also need the same things. So every organization has its own problems that they have to solve, and they are all hiring people, or they are all training and upskilling. And so all of those problems that we're facing are unique, but the individual manufacturing organizations, they bring that curiosity and the creativity that it pushes me to also grow. So I think that's what I love why I love working in the manufacturing field and helping support.
I always wanted to ask that question because I think showing why you got into manufacturing inspires other people to join manufacturing in some way. So thank you both for telling your story.
No, definitely. And that's a little bit go back to what was mentioned before regarding to show manufacturing to the young generation, right? A lot of times we all make decisions so early in life for where we're going to be when we grow up, right? Even though, like you change, I change, but trying to show the path as a young age, I think it's always important. So I ask for all manufacturing in here around the community to open the doors for the young generation, right? For your elementary school, for your high school, even for the career centers, because that will help each one of us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's really important what you touched on, just making those community connections so that we can help support each other, whether you're school-based or whether you're an organization, just making those connections so we do have the resources that we can help each other. And I think that's an important connection.
Absolutely. Daniela, you talked a little bit about schools and the community. So what kind of involvement do you guys do for both of those to bring them more into your company?
We always have them come on the site and have them to tour our facilities so we can show a little bit especially for the young generation, what is to work in a manufacturing, right? And how exciting it can be, how an engineer student can work in the robot and programming and messing around. So we had 9 students last week in our facility for the manufacturing month. And, they were like really surprised with the amount of robots that we have and how it could be exciting for them. So those are some of activities that we do to make sure that we continue to promote manufacture for the young generation.
Which is very essential.
Yes.
Kristi, how can manufacturing leaders better prepare their teams for the challenges of the future, particularly when it comes up to upskilling talent for new technologies and fostering a culture of continuous improvement?
I think it's just what you said, and it's what Daniela and her company are doing. That it's upskilling, it's training the next generation, it's getting them involved in new technologies, not fearing it, but getting them excited about it. And I think it's also establishing a culture of continuous growth. Those two things are so important, staying ahead of the curve and then constantly training your people. A lot of organizations cut training when it's the most vital to the success of the organization. It's usually the first thing when budget cuts come to go. And it really makes employees uncomfortable if they're not properly trained or they don't have the right skill sets if they're moving into a new role. And I know upskilling is a huge topic in manufacturing and making sure that we're training our people to fill those roles, to keep them in those organizations instead of losing them.
Absolutely. I have a question for the both of you. We'll start with Daniela first to answer, and then we'll move to Kristi. But how would you convince someone to get into manufacturing? What's so exciting about it? If I knew nothing about it, what would you tell me to convince me to go into your field?
I think go back to problem solving, right? When you go to work in manufacturing, it's how we can continue to problem solving, make good decisions, and see the future grow. In the manufacturing, you still have a lot of opportunity to go to different areas. You have your supply chain, you have your engineer, you have your quality. So many different areas that you can continue to grow and develop. And that for me is exciting, is how to make a product, right? It's so easy when you go to the store, you see a product, or you buy your car and see everything, but it's being curious what is behind and what make that to become that product, right? So I think that's what the beauty of manufacturing and exciting.
Yeah, I think what you said is absolutely correct. Like everywhere we go, it's a product. We pick it up, we hold it, it's tangible, but someone somewhere made that product and what went into making that product, and learning the how behind it is so intriguing and interesting that I think getting people interested, or young kids particularly interested in the field of manufacturing, is really just building on what are their strengths and what do they love to do, and finding their passion. And there's a place for everyone in this field, no matter what you like to do.
Definitely, yes.
So my next question is for both of you to share information, either your website for the audience that they'd be able to find more information at, for you guys both.
Definitely. Our website is www.aaf.com. We also are LinkedIn, Acoust-A-Fiber, as well as Facebook.
Our website is www.saceconsulting.com, and we have a complimentary leadership professional development coaching program that if people go there and you go to the coaching tab, you can sign up for that and get some free resources if you just want to reflect on your practices. And you can start there, and then your journey can begin to continuing to reflect and refine your practices from there. We're on social media also. We're on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're on every platform, really.
Marketing is very important for the business industry.
Yes.
So I know I'm throwing you out of the spot here, but I have a little something different. So Daniela, you talked a little bit about before you came in. What kind of leadership gaps do you think you have in your company that someone like Kristi might be able to fix? Or if you give her an example, how would you fix it? Go back and forth kind of on that.
Yeah, so we do a lot of promote within in our company. So we are looking to continue to help our new team leads and supervisors on making good decisions, sometimes resolving some conflicts. And that's where we are trying to invest. We are investing now.
And that's so vital, because if you don't have leaders that are equipped for that, it becomes a challenge, and it can make communication very complicated and complex, and also not getting to the problem solving. And a lot of, well, we call it, in my training course, we call it drama triangle, right? Because you're not getting the problem solved. So I think those are vital to any organization, and having a program where people feel comfortable and safe opening up to talk about their opportunities for growth, but also a self-assessment tool can be very helpful with that, so people can reflect on their own practices and identify those gaps, and something that's solid and something that they can actually know that they need to work on, and also work from a strengths-based model.
Definitely.
Where are you strong, right? And how can we improve upon that as well?
Definitely.
It's always about the future of a company. So my next question is, I know we talked a little bit about it, but where do you think the future of manufacturing is going? Danielle, if you would like to start.
I think we are not stopping here. It's the opposite. We are continuing to grow. I think it will be interesting with AI, where it will take us, right? And continue to improve on the technology on the delivering.
I agree. I think it's not stopping, and the need and the drive of technology and the new innovation, those who stay ahead of that curve, those who invest in innovation and build strong teams, those are the ones that are going to come out ahead.
It's about the innovation and people, right?
It's
all about your technology and the people.
Yeah, 100%.
You mentioned AI a little bit. How do you think AI could help your company?
I think we are still trying to know more about AI, but you see already on the recruiting side, right, how they can helping on finding more talent, on being more specific on the talent, on helping develop quick trainings and giving some feedback. So I think that's kind of like AI is continuing to help, and will more and more and more. We all need to continue to learn about AI and implement.
Yeah. I just wanted to talk on that because I know it's been a big thing right now, and obviously it's going to help all of our futures around, not just in manufacturing, but everywhere. So as we're getting ready to wrap up this interview, is there anything that you'd like to add that we may have missed, or a closing statement?
No, again, thank you for the opportunity. I think it's always important to open a discussion for manufacturing and making people, young generation, aware of the opportunities and the importance of manufacturing to continue.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree with that. And thank you for the opportunity today. And I think it's great to, anytime we have the opportunity to meet new people or collaborate or have a discussion about ways we can continue to improve our organizations, is always a good thing. And we learn from it every single time. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for coming out today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as always, you're watching Public Affairs, and I am your host, Kaylee Aiken. Thank you.